In tonight's 7th game showdown at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. We welcome you to the start of our prime time coverage. Hi everybody, I'm Marv Albert. Giants and Cardinals getting together in game number 169 this season. The winner to go to the World Series. Lineup changes. Chris Spire starts at second base instead of Robbie Thompson. Mike Aldrete leads off, plays right field, while the Cardinals remain the same as last night. Recapping this series. In game number 1, it was the off-speed pitching of Greg Matthews subbing for the injured Cox that kept the Giants off balance. Matthews struck out 7 in 7 1/3. Game 2, Dave Grebecki allowed only 2 hits in a brilliant performance going all the way, allowing only 1 runner to get as far as second base. Grebecki blanked the Cardinals 5-0. Game 3 at Candlestick Friday night. The Cardinals' only home run of the series, rookie Jim Lindemann, putting it out to spark the Cards to a come-from-behind 6-5 victory. Saturday in San Francisco, Jeffrey Leonard hit his 4th home run in his 4th straight game, a league championship series record, as the Giants evened it up at 2 apiece. In game 5, Joe Price came out of the Giants bullpen to pitch 5 scoreless innings, giving up only 1 hit. He struck out 6, Giants taking a 3-2 lead. But last night here in St. Louis, it was a sacrifice fly producing the only run. Tony Pena able to score after reaching when Candy Maldonado lost his fly ball in the lights. So it has come down to this tonight, with the winner to face the Minnesota Twins in the World Series. And the Twins resting up after clinching Monday afternoon in Detroit.
Any pitch could be the last. Reardon has it. The Minnesota Twins are in the World Series.
And from the Metrodome in Minneapolis, we are joined by Tom Kelly, the manager of the American League champion Minnesota Twins. Tom, the past 48 hours, what has it been like for you since the clinching?
Well, we got back, Marv, from Detroit about 11 o'clock at night, and there was 50,000 people here in the Metrodome, and it was quite an emotional and exciting thing, and something that I'll always remember. I know the ball players are always going to remember, and we're winding down from that, and today we're having a little bit of a workout just to get back in the groove of things and meet some of the press people, and that's what we've been doing since the flight home from Detroit, and we're looking forward to getting started again.
All right, some people feel the Tigers left it emotionally in their final weekend series against Toronto. Do you fear the Twins' emotions could be left behind, left in the American League Championship Series against Detroit?
I think that having the 4 days off is going to help us, give us a chance to get a lot of the hoopla out of the way, and we can get prepared to play in the World Series. So I think it's going to be beneficial to have the 4 days off to help get us our head screwed on right again, per se, and we'll be ready to play Saturday night.
And as you look to the World Series, they call Herzog the White Rat. They call Craig Humbaby. What do they call Tom Kelly?
Well, the best I can do is my clubhouse man come in and wrote on my notepad TK2, you know, and I said, TK2, what's that? And he said, well, Tommy Kramer's TK1, so I have to settle for TK2, and maybe I can move up a little bit.
But right now in the Twin Cities, Tom Kelly is number 1. Back with Candy Maldonado and his side of the story in just a moment. This National League Championship Series pregame show is brought to you by Mazda, bringing performance and value together. That's the Mazda way. And by Taco Bell. Say hello to fresh, exciting taste. Just say hello, Taco Bell. There are about 20 spots picked off by the Twins in Game 4, the key play of the Tiger-Twins series. And last night, Tony Pena's fly ball to right lost by Candy Maldonado in the lights, leading to the only run of the game, leading to the Cardinals tying the series at 3. And Candy Maldonado has had a superb season, a career year with 20 home runs and 85 RBIs. Still will be asked about that play. What happened?
It was like a nightmare. It was like one of the worst nights I ever had in baseball. I believe there's been occasions where all the outfielders in baseball sooner or later will have lost the ball in the lights, and unfortunately it's been the second time, once at home, but the one last night cost the ball game.
Since last night, do you find yourself replaying it over and over in your head?
I still do, and last night when I went back to my room, it was a little difficult to take it away. I know that with John Tudor pitching on a standing game, Trevecca pitching on a standing game, and there were occasions where maybe we were one hit away from tying the ball game or going ahead. But that particular play at the end of the game, winding up 1-0.
Did you sleep at all last night?
I did. I went down home and I prayed to the Lord, and I said, Jesus, there's got to be something better coming up tomorrow. It can't be all this bad. I haven't been able to swing the bat the way I know I can swing the bat in this series, and that play is something I keep remembering.
Did it bother you at all that you could not get another crack at it and that Roger Craig went with the percentages, put up Mike Aldretti as a pinch hitter for you?
Well, in that situation, I know I'm not swinging the bat pretty good, and it was a manager's decision to put the right man, and the best man he thought at that time was going to produce. You know, inside my heart, I wanted to have that last at-bat because I figured it could have been the last at-bat that something could have happened.
You were quoted as saying you guarantee a victory tonight?
I guarantee a victory tonight.
All right, on that note, we thank you. Candy Maldonado of the San Francisco Giants will be back with Joe Morgan on the subject of those who choke and do not choke in seventh and deciding games.
Strenuous testing like this has led Maz.
Welcome back to Busch Stadium in St. Louis. We're just moments away from game number 7, and we're joined by our National League Championship Series pregame analyst, Joe Morgan, a man who played in 4 pressure-packed final games of series. What about the pressure? The players tighten? Are there some who do choke?
Yes, they do. Actually, the pressure is so great, Marv. A lot of guys try to do more than they're capable of. What they end up doing is trying to do it all with one swing of the bat, and they forget about the team concept of playing the game.
Is it a matter of some players trying to avoid embarrassment?
Right, I think that's the case. Instead of playing to be the hero, they're playing not to be the GOAT. Instead of playing to win, they're playing not to lose.
Did you ever choke?
Yes, I did against Don Drysdale my rookie year, but fortunately I had a lot of other opportunities and I was able to come through.
All right, how do you see the managers handling things tonight?
Well, I think the toughest thing for the managers to do tonight will be to not to play the percentages. Percentages are great over a 162-game schedule. They hold up. But in a one-game playoff, you have to throw them out the window, manage aggressively from the first pitch until the last. You have to go after it.
All right, it will be Atlee Hammaker going against Danny Cox. 7th and final game is straight ahead. We're set now for the playing of our national anthem. Let's go to Cardinal Public Address announcer John Hewlett.
Hi, everybody. I'm Vin Scully along with Joe Garagiola. Welcome to Busch Stadium in St. Louis. And after 168 scuffling games, it has come down to this.
And I tell you, very few people would believe we would have a Game 7, but last night's was probably one of the best games I've seen.
Whitey Herzog is batting .500 in the hope department. He was hoping to get to Game 6 and use Jack Clark, but he does get to Game 7 and get the man he was hoping to be there, the fellow who missed opening day, and that would be Danny Cox.
He took the hard way because he started out by saying Cox will open up so I can have him 1, 4, and 7. Of course, he had the stiff neck, but here he is in Game 7. Vin, there's so many things you could talk about, but I think that last night we saw why this ball club is built for this ballpark with the defense.
Indeed, we saw a great play by Willie McGee, Terry Pendleton on the bunt, Vince Coleman cutting down Melvin's base hit. Meanwhile, when you look at the pitching staffs, Atlee Hammaker 1-8 on the road this year. He'll be backed up by a well-rested Mike Krukow. Even Rick Rushell can be seen, and perhaps the fellow we've really been looking for with the game on the line, Scott Garrels.
I think we might see all of them. I say that because I think at the first sign of trouble on either side, you go for everything. I mean, they may even take Gussie off the Clydesdales if they get in trouble.
And should there be any trouble with Danny Cox, remember, you have a very well-rested Joe McGrain before you get to the bullpen. Well, we'll get to the starting lineups. We'll have all the pregame stats and stories for the showdown at Busch. All coming up right after this. For Game 7, Ozzie Smith leading the Cardinals out for their defensive stations. And here come the Giants. The way San Francisco will stack up against Danny Cox. This is the 123rd different Giant lineup, and the first time Roger Craig has fielded this lineup. Aldretti, Mitchell, and Leonard, Clark, Davis, and Brenly, Spire, Uribe, and Hammaker.
There's the defense, the same as it was.